Welcome, my constant reader friends. I'm Tad, and this is Tad Reads Books and Stuff. All right, so today I didn't get anything finished, so I'm just going to do a brief update on where I stand in my reading, and then I'm actually going to do a book tag. Yes. All right, so first off, still finishing up Dan Simmons' Hyperion. This, of course, is a project read-along that I'm doing with Grozz on the GKBC. You're going to hear his name a lot in this video. And also, Kim, the Paper Traveler, said she's going to try to get this read as well. We will be doing, I'm 412, page 412. I've got like 100 pages maybe left of this. So this will be finished this week. We'll do a video for this at the end of the month or next weekend. So we'll get that one done. Also, I made great progress actually on Nightmares and Dreamscapes, my Shorty King project that I'm doing this year. I am actually on page 633 of this, so about 200 pages left. So I'll be finishing this up hopefully this week, so I can keep on track with my Shorty King project, and we'll probably do a discussion about this one 2 weeks from now, after the Hyperion next week. And I'm still continuing with my Thirsty Mermaids. Now, Grozz and I on the GKBC are doing this little project called the Marvelous Team Up, where every 2 weeks we discuss a graphic novel or comic book series that we are reading together. And please check out that video. I will be probably posting this video, the video for this, tomorrow. You'll see this on Monday, so probably Tuesday. I will be updating my progress on this. And so let's get on with a book tag. I have to start off by saying I really appreciate it. I love when other booktubers tag me for a booktube, for a tag video, but I don't do a lot of them, unfortunately. If I have a book that I finished that I want to talk about, that's what I do. I don't post a lot of videos yet. I still have a full-time job. So usually 1 or 2 maybe videos a week is a lot for me. So I don't get around to doing those book tags as often as I'd like to. I really appreciate getting tagged. I just don't do a lot of them. So I promised Grozz that I would be doing this one. So what is it called? I took the notes here. The tag is called the Trope Tag. And I was tagged by Grozz and the daughter of Grozz, Evelyn, from the GKBC channel. I will put that link down in the comments for the GKBC. And also Evelyn, the daughter of Grozz, has a really cool channel that she does some of her artwork on. And I will be linking her channel below as well. Please check that out. It's really cool. I dig it. So this actual the Trope Tag really began, I guess, on Wordpress back in April 21st of 2022. And it was by, I guess the channel's Link and Dash on WordPress. I'm not a WordPress guy. But I was tagged by Grozz and the daughter of Grozz April 5th of this year. Sorry guys, it's over 2 months, but I promised I would get to one. Here we go. So without further ado, the Trope Tag. All right, so what's the first? So if you're not familiar with tags, usually there are 10 questions or subjects or something that you use books to fulfill the question, or question and answer type thing. You all know what a tag is. Anyways, number 1, enemies to lovers. A book you formerly hated or disliked but now love. Well, I have to go with this, and it's not necessarily this book, but I have the complete fiction of H.P. Lovecraft. Yeah, so when I was very young, I've told this story many times, my mother was a huge fan of Stephen King. I started reading, Stephen King books off her shelf, and oftentimes he always does like notes in his books of, his writing that book of that, whatever was going on that time. And he often would talk about this dude, H.P. Lovecraft. So I went to the bookstore and I said, I got to get some H.P. Lovecraft. If Stephen King loves him, I'm going to love him. Got some, tried to read it. Holy crap. No, I totally disliked it. The reason being, I think I was too young. I couldn't understand his antiquated language. I couldn't understand some of the imagery he puts in his books. It was just above me. But I persevered. I kept reading. And all of a sudden, bam. I can't get enough of it. I read this. Just pick it up and start reading short stories all the time. I now am a huge H.P. Lovecraft fan. I will, Halloween comes, October comes around. I've even got this book on Audible. I'll listen to it while I drive a lot in my job. I've just come to, every time I read or listen to anything by H.P. Lovecraft, I love it more and more. So now, yeah, that's one that I really just couldn't get into when I first started reading, my reading journeys. All right, we're going to have stacks. Number 2, Second Chance. A book you previously DNF'd, but now adore. This is going to be one that I cannot answer. I've talked about it before. I have never DNF'd a book. I've set books aside and had to come back to them later. And the funny thing is, it's normally not a book that I'm disliking. Like Les Mis. I've been reading the unabridged version of Les Mis for over 20 years. And I dig it. I love it. It's just the printing is tiny. There's like 8 million pages to the book. I love the story. I love the musical and all that. But I don't DNF a book. And if I don't like the book, I'll hate read it. I'll read it. I'll probably finish those books faster than books I like. Books I like, sometimes I'll read a paragraph over and over and over. I love the imagery when I'm really into a book. But I never DNF a book. I give that author, their credit. They publish a book. They put the time and effort into it. I'm going to put the time and effort into reading it. All right, move on, Ted. Number 3, Love Triangle. This is a strange one. Love Triangle, but then it is, the prompt is a duology where you love both the books. All right. I was going to take the easy way out and say Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, which I recently finished finally, and as a YA book I loved, but I'm going to go with these two, and some people just really talk bad about these books. I don't understand. Yeah, Ready Player 1, Ready Player 2, Ernest Cline. I love these books. I am a kid of the 80s. I graduated high school, I'm going to date myself, in 1983. And these books are just so nostalgic when you read through them. I don't care if they're formulaic or simple or anything like that. I love these books. They're a thrill ride. I even just watched the movie for Ready Player One again the other night. What can I say? If you haven't tried them, they're enjoyable. You can't say these books aren't enjoyable to read. People put them down. I don't know. I don't understand. But anyways, that's my duology or love triangle. Number 4, Friends to Lovers. A book recommended to you that you loved. My buddy Christopher he always is recommending things to me. Music, books, foods, all kinds of things. I love Christopher. I'm actually happy because I'm going to see him this Thursday. We're going to go see The Cure. I've been wanting to see The Cure since the 80s. I'm very excited about that. But he referred me to Soulless. So this is, it says here, a novel of vampires, werewolves, and parasols. I don't know if you can see that cover. This is the hardback version of it. This is by Gail Carriger. And if you are not familiar with Gail Carriger, stop what you're doing, run out to the bookstore, get Soulless, start reading it. This is book one in her she's got several series. But the cool thing about Gail, I've met her twice and got to sit down and speak with her. Really, really cool woman. I don't know if you can see that picture of her. That's Gail there. She wears steampunk clothing every day. That's how she dresses. And I met her at a steampunk convention, and she is something else. She's got like multiple degrees. She's got an anthropology degree. She speaks like 7 languages. Really cool steampunk novel with vampires, werewolves. It's, again, another awesome, fun book. I really, really like this. Another cool thing about this is she even published it in a manga form. Soulless by Gail Carriger. There's volume 1. Volume 2, if I could hold it up. Volume 3. I don't know, I just love her. And she's written a lot more books. You just check her out. Gail Carriger. I think you'll enjoy her writing. All right, what's next? Number 5. Insta Love. A book you knew you would love at first sight. Yeah. So my ex-wife gave me this for Christmas, and I don't know why, but this cover is just, I love this freaking cover. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clark. It's a big book, but holy crap. I don't know why, this starkness of it drew me in. I knew I was going to love it right from the beginning, and what a hell of a book. If you have not read this, whew, you got to check it out. I love this so much. I found it in a thrift store in its other version, and I had to get this as well. Matter of fact, this one's even better because this is a first, and this one isn't. So yeah, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. First time I saw it, I loved it, and I loved it when I read it too. All right, number 6, The Chosen One. Your all-time favorite novel. Well, if you've been watching my channel for any time, you probably know the answer to this. But I'm going to show you my top 3. One is right here. This is my 3rd favorite of all time, and this is The Hobbit. This is my folio edition of The Hobbit by, of course, J.R.R. Tolkien. I've read this, as I've spoken about before, several times. I love this book. The Hobbit is number 3. Number 2 is Dune. Whoa, there goes my notes. Number 2 is Dune by Frank Herbert. Love this book. Number 2. And number 1, you all know, It by Stephen King. I've got to get this protected. It's starting to feel, I've read it so many times. all-time favorite book. When I close this book, when I'm done finishing it, I'm closing this back, I get sad. I feel like I'm leaving my best friends. He writes, as everyone knows, this coming of age of kids so well. You feel like you're best friends with these, the Losers Club in this. I love it. Number one, all-time favorite book. All right, gotta make some room here. What's next? Number 7. Jeez, my notes keep sliding around. Forbidden Love, a loved book you don't talk about. I don't talk about this book often enough. This even author, I don't ever really hear anybody else talking about. One of my all-time favorite books too, and that's Harvest Home by Thomas Tryon. It's a cool cover. This is a witchy novel. Witchcraft pagan rights. Really awesome. Thomas Tryon was an actor and then started writing novels. He did The Other, which is another scary ass book, and several others. I've got, I think, all of his books. Thomas Tryon, Harvest Home. Again, not a big book. This is a nice cozy book to read in October, for sure, or in the fall, winter time. If you haven't tried it, try this out. Thomas Tryon, love it. And now we're down to number 8, Secret Billionaire, a book you read and enjoyed before you knew it was popular. Well, I've talked about, my relationship with my mother and reading. And I read this book, you're not going to believe this. I read this book, I think I was 11 or 12 when it first came out. My mother had it on her bookshelf, and I grabbed it because Interview with the Vampire. Well, it said vampire on it, so I'm like, sweet. And it's thin, it's little. There's Anne Rice, look at her on the back. Yeah, so I pulled this off my mother's bookshelf and started reading it because I figured, oh, vampire, and it's not going to take me too long to read. I didn't know that this was going to be such a huge book. I didn't know it was a huge, I don't think it was back in this was published in 1976. I don't know that it was back then. I don't know. But I read it, loved it. I don't love Anne Rice's stories all the time. I love The Witching Hour, but this whole series, I haven't even read this whole series. I read a couple, but anyways, yeah, Interview with the Vampire. I read it before, I knew anything about it. All right, number 9, Found Family, your most cherished books. So I'm going to show you these books. These are the oldest books I have in my collection. They are my most cherished books, for sentimental reasons, of course. But what I'd like to do is read them again. Hopefully this year. I don't know when I can fit it in, but I'm going to try. Maybe this year I can read these. I don't know. But first off is Toby Tyler, or 10 Weeks with the Circus by James Otis. Illustrated by George Wilson. Now, this is a companion library. It's a hardback. I believe, like, a lot of the classics and more books written for children, YA. This was given to me. This book was published in 1977, or I'm sorry, 67. Yeah, one of the first books ever given to me. I read it, I cherish it, I've kept it, and I'd like to read it again. Another one is Another companion library, Tom Sawyer Detective. I was sick. Whenever I was sick and home from school, my mother would always give me a gift, and it was usually a book. And she gave me this Tom Sawyer Detective by Samuel Clemens, of course, illustrated by Gerald McCann. This was published in 1965. The coolest thing about this one was, and I love this story, the coolest thing about this one was if you flip it over, it's a double book. I Got Kidnapped by Robert Louis Stevenson, illustrated by Joe Paulseno. Yeah, didn't love Kidnapped as much as I loved Tom Sawyer Detective, but yeah, isn't that cool? And that's that companion library series. And I have one more, and that's again a companion library book, and it's the story of King Arthur and his knights. Oh my goodness, I love this book. By Howard Pyle, illustrated by Sergio Leone. Again, these companion libraries were really cool books, all hardbacks. It's even got a list of them on the back. The Adventures of Pinocchio, Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn, Aesop's Fable, Alice Adventures in Wonderland, Anderson, Arabian Nights, Black Beauty, Little Lame Prince, Jungle Book. I mean, tons of them they put out. I have these three. They're my most cherished books. I've kept them my whole life. And maybe I'll be able to get to reading them this year. I hope. All right, we're down to number 10. Sorry if this video is running long, like all my videos. Number 10, Forced Proximity. A required reading book you read and enjoyed. Yeah. Oftentimes when you get assigned books in school to read, all my friends, when we were assigned this book, I remember all my friends got the crib notes, of course, and didn't read it. I'm a reader, so I said, you know, I'm gonna read it. I don't like being assigned books, you know, when you're a kid and stuff as homework. I want to read for enjoyment, but we were assigned Michael Crichton's The Andromeda Strain. This is the only version that I have of it. This is a trilogy with The Terminal Man and The Great Train Robbery. But we were assigned The Andromeda Strain in school to read, and I read it and I loved it. I don't know. I feel bad for all my friends who got the crib notes and just, you know, wrote a little cheap ass report on it. I read this book. I've read it several times. Again, the movie was cool when I was young, and they finally made it into a movie. But yeah, Michael Crichton, Andromeda Strain. Man, if you haven't read this one, I would pick up this. This is really cool. This trilogy, this three complete novels by Michael Crichton. The Terminal Man's cool, and of course, The Great Train Robbery is his version of a true event. So, anyways, that was number 10. That's it. Usually number 11 on a tag video is for the person doing the tag video to tag other people to do the video as well. I'm not going to do that. This is old. Like I said, it was 2022 the original tag came out. But I did want to thank Grozz and, of course, the daughter of Grozz, Evelyn, for tagging me. And here's your video. I'm sorry it took over 2 months to do. All right, guys. As usual, if you find any entertaining value in my videos, please like, subscribe, and leave me tons of comments. I got a stack of books here that I was able to show off today. Makes me happy always. All right, as usual, peace out.